Hello everyone, it's Micah. I've been gone for a year and I haven't posted any videos, and this video represents me trying to come back online and finish what I started, or start what I was attempting to start in the first place, however you want to think about it. I've decided that I'm not going to edit this video, I'm not going to ponder it. I just have to take that first step and shove it out there into the world without thinking about camera angles. I mean, granted, I got a haircut today, in the back of my mind, thinking about doing this video, but I haven't really shaved that well, and I'm not in the absolute most photogenic pose at the moment. I'm going to have to work on my background, rig up something like I did last year, which, at any rate, I'm getting off topic. The point is that I'm back, and for right now, I'm not going to worry about being professional or even making a whole lot of sense because I really just need to make a video and put it out there. But I'm going to try to push out there first what I want to do with this channel. I had started off on some music commentary, mainly focused around my favorite artist, Janet Jackson. I'm partly inspired to begin posting again because Janet's about to go back on tour starting this Friday, and I will be attending 3 shows over the next month, so I definitely want to report back on that. But this isn't a Janet Jackson fan channel. At least it's not devolved into just that one thing just yet. It may eventually. The idea that I've been pondering over the past few weeks is something that I'm calling Make Music Better. There's a lot of, and there has been for the past, I don't know, decade in particular, and I would really want to say the last decade and a half, there's been this narrative that's been pushed that music is devolving, or getting worse, that there's not a focus on musicianship anymore, that there's not a focus on talent anymore, that people are just putting out anything, anyone's becoming a star. It's just a bunch of noise. And I may be listening too much to my peers as opposed to the people who are really consuming the music, and this may be just another generational disconnect, just like the ones that we faced when people my age were growing up. And it's just, the whole generational tension that existed in the 50s with the parents of kids who loved rock and roll, the parents of the kids in 80s and 90s who loved rap and hip hop, and now that's where we are today with the music that's out now. And I want, and have wanted for some time now, to bridge that gap and to talk about how music makes the world better, and that in turn, that understanding of how music informs our view of the world and how we express our view of the world through music, it feeds off of itself. It feeds off of the way that we look at the world, and it makes the music better. It makes it more enriching for us as listeners, and it feeds back into the world, because once any artist is able to express the way that the world makes them feel through their music, that can only be a good thing, a cathartic thing. And so I think we've just lost sight of what music can really do, culturally speaking. And since I'm also very interested in social and political issues, I wanted to tie all of that in and sort of think of music as a holistic thing, not just, oh, well, that song is good and that song is bad, but more so, what does this music say about the person who's making it, and what does this music say about the rest of us, the way we're consuming it? And I mean, that's going to be the background of what I want to do. The nuts and bolts of what I'm going to be doing is, number one, looking back and reviewing specific musical outputs, albums, singles, and I want to do this in ever widening circles, starting with the thing that I'm most familiar with, which means I'm going to start off, as always, with the foundation of Janet Jackson stuff. That's my musical home base. Everything is going to end up getting compared to her anyway, so I might as well start off with that foundation. And then from there, I'm going to explore outwards. I'm going to look at other artists that I'm very familiar with, but perhaps go more in depth than I did originally when I first started listening to them. And then from there, I'm going to move out further to artists that I'm less familiar with and genres that I'm less familiar with. And that's the journey that I want to chronicle through this series of videos. And again, all of this happening against the backdrop of making music better by better understanding the people who are making it and better understanding how it informs things that are going on in society. So I wanted to be sure and get that out of the way. And you can stop the video now if you just want to know where I'm headed with this video series, where I'm headed with this channel. But if you want to hang around, I wanted to get into something a little more personal and confessional, because this is part of what I want to put out here into the world. So it's been over a year since I posted anything, and on the surface, if you looked at my life, you probably wouldn't think that anything is really wrong or off course. But I've had kind of a rough time. I live a lot between these two ears. I live a lot inside my own head, inside my own space. Tragedies have tragic events have raised how should I say this, have arisen inside my head, and I've had basically panic attacks about them and had to put them back down again. It's like empires have risen and fallen inside my head over the past year. It's to me, it's been a tough emotional roller coaster of a year. Part of it is getting back in the swing of things after COVID. My sense of time has been greatly altered over the past 3 years, and I'm still recovering from that impact that it has. The past 3 years at the same time seems like I lost them altogether. And when I think about individual points within them, I realize that so much really did happen, but I don't know how to reconcile those two feelings. And so for me, thinking about how this past year has gone by without me getting back into the work that I want to do, it's something that a book that I was reviewing on Blinkist, which I'm subscribed to, a book that I was looking at on there through their summary platform, is called Legacy Work. And it was a really good, it was a one whole chapter about qualifying the type of thing that you want to do as legacy work. And I thought that was a great term for it. It may be a commonly used term, but it's not something I was familiar with specifically. And that's what I want to get into, and that's what I've been pointing towards my entire life. But life gets in the way, and you have to think about, okay, what am I going to contribute? I've always thought, I'm a writer, I'll contribute written things. Hopefully they'll come up as masterpieces. I'm just going to pretend like my cat didn't completely invade the frame here, because I'm not editing this video. Hi, Amir. You're going to have to get out of the way, buddy. Okay. No cat. That didn't happen, and I'm not editing him out. So, yeah, we're gonna talk about this later. Okay, so see, he made me lose my train of thought, but like I said, I'm not editing. And I've been frustrated throughout my life about going about my legacy work, which I've always thought had to do with writing. But I realized that I'm not always going to be disciplined enough to put down all of my thoughts in a written format, and that's what I hope this channel will help me to do in a more verbal way. I definitely want to continue writing, and what I would really love is for this channel to give me some inertia from an exposure perspective, give me some exposure so I can be more motivated to write articles, essays, criticisms, those types of things, and have a really solid, viable readership for those things, and ultimately, who knows, maybe be able to live off of that. That would be a great thing if I could devote all of my time to the things that that all roll into what I'm calling my legacy work. Part of the problem is that I've never known what I want to write about, and this channel and what I described earlier is just my attempt at doing that in a more focused way. I've always loved popular music, and I've always enjoyed participating in pop music criticism, but I've suffered a little bit from imposter syndrome, and I actually am a bit of an imposter. I don't really know that much about music theory. All I know is that I'm a fan, and that I've learned to isolate and comparatively evaluate different pieces of music. And I've been exposed to a decent amount of music over the course of my lifetime. So, why not? And it was something that I did in college. I wrote in school papers, and of course, in that environment, they're usually scrambling for copy, so it's not like it's super competitive. But I wasn't able to get a writing job out of college, and despite doing a little bit of freelancing in my 20s, I never really got any momentum, and I faced the cold hard reality that out there in the world, people give you assignments, and 90% of the assignments you get, or the 90% of the assignments I was getting, I had no real affinity for, even when it was in the field that I was interested in. I kind of just want to write what I want to write about, and that can be a problem, because other people are only going to listen to what's in it for them, and that's not been a thing that I've been particularly skilled at honing in on. So that's what I hope to do. I mean, what is it in this for you, the viewer? Well, normally you won't hear me rambling on about this, and hopefully there won't be a whole lot of navel gazing, and hopefully you'll be exposed to better edited and more exciting videos than this in the future. But aside from that, I want people to just look at this journey, and to the extent that you're familiar with the music that I go over on any given day, then maybe you can bounce your opinions off of mine. That would be ideal. To the extent that I make extrapolations about the music in terms of what it meant for that artist, what it means in terms of society, what it means in terms of social issues, or whether it really meant nothing, it happened in a vacuum, this artist wasn't speaking for anyone but themselves, and it really doesn't have that kind of relevance that I'm trying to assign to it. Those are the sort of conversations that I'm looking forward to having, and that's the value that I want to provide to people who are interested in discussing those things. But I guess I was expecting, with making this video, I was expecting this to be way more emotional and confessional, and I wasn't expecting to break down in tears necessarily, but this has come off as a lot more straightforward than I meant for it to. So the past year has been rough. I guess I won't get into the specifics of that, because other than to say that I've been consumed with work, and I've been consumed with some personal issues that I'm trying to resolve. Nothing serious. Again, most of it happening inside my own head. And I'm looking forward to getting outside of myself and using this channel as a medium for getting outside of myself. I guess that's all I have to say. I'm really going to be getting a crash course in video editing and how to present myself in a spoken format, in a video format. This is going to be pretty difficult and pretty uphill. I expect to get a lot of disparaging comments. I expect to get a lot of trolling. Hopefully I can deal with it. I've tried to develop a thicker skin over the past couple of years, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see how many kind or unkind comments come in from this video. But yeah, we'll just see what happens, and we'll see if I even post another video. This might be a one-time thing, and I might forget about it for another whole year. But my goal is to come out fighting and post some videos and chronicle my journey, and hopefully enough people will come along to make it worth the ride for all of us. So to wrap up, Janet Jackson is going on tour Friday, starting Friday. I'm going to 3 shows, 2 shows in Atlanta, 1 show in Charlotte. I will be for sure giving, I won't say blow by blow, but I will be giving detailed analysis, reporting of what I see, and what I see secondhand, what I see online as I go. And I'm going to go ahead in the midst of the frenzy around the tour. I'm also going to be doing a brief overview of Janet's music to get that out of the way and say, hey, this is my musical foundation. If any of you want to know where I'm coming from and what music I'm comparing every other piece of music that I listen to in popular music, if you want to know what my foundation is, what I compare everything against, it's gonna be Janet. So I guess one thing I could do that would provide some visual interest is giving you a little bit of a look at my Janet display area here at my place. It's various tchotchkes, CDs, magazines, keepsakes, auction items. We can get into more detail about what's over there at some point. Maybe that will be a whole video of me showing my wares, the things that I've accumulated over the years. All right, so I'm at the 17-minute mark, and if you've hung out this long, then you are really a trooper, and I appreciate you doing so. I will end this video now, and I will plan to post another video very, very soon. At the very latest, I should probably post a video on Friday, which will be Friday the 14th. Memory serves, that is the opening date for Janet's Together Again tour. And again, if memory serves, it's going to be in Hollywood, Florida. And very excited for that. My next video, I intend on going over Janet's first 2 albums from the early 80s as an introduction to her initial music career. It's not really, those albums are sort of outliers. I kind of want to go over them a little bit with a little less detail than the other albums, because I don't think they're as significant in who she is as an artist. But that's the intended that's the intent for the next video. At any rate, I'm going to shut up now, and thank you for watching.